Hi Shraddha, welcome to the show. So I would like to start by congratulating you on the big success of Jersey. So this has been what, a year of many firsts for you. You had your Bollywood debut.
That's right.
Now your Telugu debut.
That's right.
How does it feel to get introduced to a new industry every now and then?
It sort of gives me faith in the fact that I can get accepted in more and more industries, and that my face or my talent knows no barrier in terms of language or acceptability or audiences. So it's nice. It's also like sort of checking off boxes, of my checklist. So yeah.
But how did it feel to take that Bollywood leap? Because for a lot of actresses, Bollywood is like probably the go-to milestone.
Right.
So how did that feel? To do that Hindi film.
I didn't look at Bollywood as like my end to a means or whatever you means to an end. Like I don't romanticize Bollywood. I'm not. I keep saying that I'm not starstruck about Bollywood. Never was. I've never looked as in a lot of articles they use my name also as they have used the southern platform to go to Bollywood. No, I have not signed any more Bollywood films. For me, it was a good film, and I was privileged that Tigmanshu Dhulia wanted to cast me. Right. Fantastic director. And yeah, so I knew back then itself, I said, even if no other Bollywood film comes my way, I'm glad I worked with Tigmanshu Dhulia. It doesn't matter. So, and Hindi is a language I speak very comfortably. I feel like I can emote so much better in Hindi because I grew up in the north, so Hindi comes very naturally to me. So, it was an interesting experience to sort of feel that, okay, I can do this also in a Hindi film. Like I can somehow emote better than I thought I could.
Okay. So now that you made it clear you're not starstruck about any particular industry, so does this also reflect in the kind of project that you choose? Because you did a Mani Sir's film, and then you did a film like Even Tandiran, then you did like a big Vikram Vedha,
right.
Then now again a Jersey,
right.
And now again a K13. So it's like you're working with, of course, Ajith Sir's film is also in the pipeline. So you're working with the stars.
Yes.
You're also working with probably the first-time filmmakers.
Yes.
So how do you juggle between these projects? How do you choose?
That's a very interesting question because after you work with, let's say, a certain level of filmmakers or production houses, you are expected to keep upping it. And I feel it's unfair for the newbies or the newer production houses when you're rejecting them just because he's a new director or which is this production house? First film? No, thank you. Like I want to give them, it's not like I'm giving them a chance, but what if I miss out on an amazing film or an amazing character? So for me, it's that fear of missing out. I have a few criteria that have to be met, but and I need to have like utter faith in who my filmmaker will be, is going to be. And Bharat is one of those guys, incredibly sharp and so good to talk to. So yeah, so to answer your question, yeah, it's been interesting for me. The only common thread has been interesting films with a solid technical support.
Okay. So on that note, K13, which is your next Tamil release, what was that probably one factor that drew you to this project? I mean, you already spoke about Bharat being incredibly talented. Yes. Probably another factor that probably instantly gave you that kick to go and sign this project.
Right. So after Vikram Vedha became huge. I remember 21st of July 2018 it released. 24th of July I was out on a European holiday.
Remember.
I remember very good dates. I went off on a holiday, so I was missing in action right after the movie release, and there was buzz about yaar in the porno, who's this girl, new face. So okay, after that 6 months later Richie released, which didn't do well at all. I was waiting to like sign a new, like a good film, and after a series of no, not really, I'm not feeling it, came K13. Sort of grabbed it with both hands because it had a lot going for it. Apart from like my first meeting with Bharat went really well. It had, like I said, it had everything going for it because Bharat, and then the music sounded really good. Technically it sounded really strong. There was Arul Nidhi, which was another driving factor. But I think over and above all of that, it was my character. It was how I was going to be seen. She plays a writer. I remember Vikram Vedala, people started like wife of this character. So it made a certain image of me. I wanted to break that. And I feel like the reason why after Vikram Vedha and Richie there was a long gap is because stereotyping. When you're only seen as, okay, she can play that age or such roles, you know you've been stereotyped. So when something like this came to me, I was like, damn, that's awesome, because I get to play a writer and she's an urban girl and I get to look different. So it was all of this together which made me say yes to K13.
Okay. Okay. Richie, for some reason, didn't do well, and as you mentioned, didn't you think it would have been safer for you to do probably, a film that would definitely guarantee success, vis-a-vis, trying to experiment with K13, not taking away any, credit for the fact that film may or may not be good. But didn't you feel that, it would have been safer to do probably a commercial film, something easy
Right.
to go with?
After Vikram Vedha, right? Or
Yeah.
after the
Richie.
right after the failure of Richie,
right.
you can say. No, because then I feel like I am sort of not sticking to my principles of of being of the kind of actor that I am. Because you said that you like Vikram Vedha was such a big production house, big hit, big heroes, big whatever, everything was so big, and then K13 has relatively new names, but I would feel like unfair if I said no to K13 because new team, and if it became a big hit, I would curse myself. And till date, every film that I've rejected, I am glad I rejected, because I have watched it later on and I'm like, glad I didn't do it. But K13 was something that I knew I wanted to do.
Okay. Okay. Now, going by the promos, is it safe to assume that you actually play slightly negative character, or are we going to be proven wrong?
It's not wrong to assume. One can assume many things, but it's nice that there's a lot of theories being
Different interpretations. of the
different
character, yeah.
interpretations. People are sort of pausing each frame and saying, okay, there's something here. Maybe this adds up to something else. But yeah, there are shades of grey. I can tell you that.
Okay.
I'm not simply glaring in the teaser. There's a reason I'm glaring with very intense eyes. There are shades of grey. And it was nice. It's nice to add a film like this to my filmography.
Okay, and the experience of working with Arunidhi, because he's a very promising actor, someone who's consistently tried to do something different.
Yes.
Even though he comes from a very big family.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So how was that experience of working with her?
I think I resonate with that sentiment of wanting to do something different every time, wanting to pick like films that are sort of out of the box, It was nice working with him. He's a very professional guy. He is an outstanding performer, and I have a lot of respect for him, because as actors sometimes we tend to choose the safe route, but he's not. He's doing films that are not quintessential like hero films. He's doing like nice, interesting films, and I really like that about him.
Okay. Now the big question, I know people, I'm sure, must have asked you about this a lot. Ajith sir's film is in the pipeline. How did that feel, when that call came and you said yes? Were you nervous? Were you excited? Did you want to talk to someone about the project? Should I do it? What was the reaction?
So from my first phone call to the day that I got selected was easily 30 days.
Okay.
So my first meeting, I was very excited then. First meeting happened, they saw how I looked physically, whether I fit the part as from the casting point of view. We had a small audition. I auditioned for a simple scene. Okay, from that there was 1 week I was very every time my phone rang, I was like, hello. Oh, you're not from that team, okay, bye. I was very excited to hear from them. And then there was a 3-week lag, and there was no call. Then I was like, maybe it's not happening. And then again I got a call. They said, okay, this time we'd like to do a look test, proper makeup, hair, costume, everything. I said, okay, so they're still interested in me. That's nice. So then again my hopes went up, and then on the day of the look test, after I was done with a long trial of costumes and everything, they said, so we have a scene for you. I was like, one more scene? They're like, yeah. And I was told that this is one of the more serious, more intense scenes. I said, cool. So spent some time, rehearsed my lines. So I did one take, and the director's like, I'll tell you how the scene has to be done, Shraddha. When you do the scene, the audiences should like sit up and they should be stunned basically. So I said, okay. I said, can I try? Can I go for it once again? He says, yeah, sure. I did it again. And his response was like, okay, you can talk to the production now. So it was that simple. And in a moment I was like, does that mean I just got selected? Hello, please explain. So I was extremely happy. But I had to be mum. My lips had to be sealed. It's so difficult when the whole internet is like sort of speculating who is part of this team, who is the lucky girl, who are the lucky girls, and is Shraddha Srinath part of it? I'm getting calls saying, can you please confirm? I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. So, and then I finally found out that I was waiting to announce, and when I finally found out that they've decided a date to announce, I was like, okay. Apna time aayega, apna time aa gaya. So yeah, I was thrilled. The response was fantastic. These are the kind of moments I live for. Yeah.
Okay. But the character, since it's already been performed by someone, and it's extremely popular, right, and quite powerful too. So how did you prepare for that character? Did you like have a word with Taapsee, or did you watch the original over and again?
Actually, fortunately, I hadn't watched the original.
Oh, okay.
As I have spoken about on the in every interview, I hadn't watched the original, and it just worked out so well for me. I remember when the movie released, I was out of the country, and a month later I returned. It was out of theatres, at least in Bangalore it was not, or it was some faraway theatre. Sorry, okay, Appo, I didn't watch it then. It came on TV once, and I happened to enter my living room where my family was watching the movie just when the molestation scene was on. Okay. I got disturbed. I'm like, I can't watch this. It's really disturbing me. I walked away from there. And then I'm doing this film, and I'm like, good I didn't watch it, because I know how amazing Taapsee's performance was. And in my head, I just wanted to treat it as a new film. So for me, I got a narration of the whole film, as if I did not know the story at all. I know what happens in the film, or more or less, but I got a narration from scene A to Z, That's how I treated it as well. And how did I prepare for it? It was actually easy and difficult. When I say easy, I can say that as a woman, I remember the first time a man made me feel uncomfortable was when I was 8 years old. The first time. And I remember back then that the malice on his face and what the gesture he made at me was wrong, but I was afraid. Suddenly I was afraid to tell my mom and dad. It happened at the age of 10, it happened at the age of 13, it kept happening. It never stopped. And then I was afraid. Now, because I'm older, I'm not afraid anymore, but I'm angry. I'm angry that I did not react then. I wish I had told my parents. I wish my dad had gone and smacked that guy hard, So I wish that I had spoken up all those times. So now there is so much pent up rage in me, and I found the most beautiful way to channelize it. I could speak out of frustration on my social media. I could talk about these things, but it would not lead to anything as such. With a movie like this, I get to channelize it into hopefully a powerful performance, and that was my preparation. So it was easy and difficult, very interesting.
Right. Okay. And then finally, working with Ajith, how was the experience?
This I can't talk about.
You can't? Yeah. I mean, in general, not about the character, in general. Anything that you probably took back home from the whole experience of, working with them?
That humility is a virtue. Okay. Yeah. It takes real effort to be humble. And in the end, that's what people will remember you for. Okay. That's my learning from the whole experience.
Okay. And on a parting note, going back to Jersey and the big success, it's a very challenging character, right? Quite emotional. And you play a mother in your Telugu debut.
Yes.
Again, how did you decide that I could actually go with this project?
It was not an immediate yes. It took me, and I voiced out my fears to my director Gautam on that very day. He didn't say much. He said, you're only looking at, she's not just a mother. She's also playing a girlfriend. She's also playing a passionate lover. She's also playing a wife. She's playing a working woman who's handling the house. And she's playing a mother. So you're missing out on all the other roles that she's playing, but you're focusing on the mother, which you think is a negative thing. It's a lot more than that. Sarah is a lot more than just a mother. And then I realized, I said, yeah, it's a journey. Nani too. I'm like, people would ask Nani, like, you're playing a 36-year-old man, not proper hero, but like a scruffy man, sitting jobless, with no aim in life, completely beaten, a shell of himself, what he used to be. But Nani said, he says, times are changing and those days are gone. I hope what he says is true. But I didn't, I took a day or two to think, and I said, I have to do this. Again, that fear of missing out, I want to be part of good films. And sometimes it's a risk. I'll tell you this. It's an honest thing. It's a risk, but it's really worth it.
Okay.
It's really worth it. Yeah.
I think it's paid off quite handsomely.
Totally.
So great. Thanks so much for taking your time, Shraddha, and all the very best for K30.
Thank you so much.